Today I'm going to be discussing how the Crain engineering glow driver is set up, how you adjust it, and how it works, and how you know that the glow driver is either turned on or off. I have a single glow plug version connected in this plane, and in this aircraft I have a twin cylinder, so the glow driver is turning on two glow plugs at the same time. And the difference being that the twin engine requires more current, so you'll have to use some different components. Okay, let's do the single glow driver first. Since I already have these glow drivers installed, I really do not feel like taking them all out. So I have some photos which you can look at, which I put some arrows and notes on to explain the various little buttons and things. And of course, Crain Engineering's website has fully detailed information as well. So here is the installation for the single glow. I've got an 850 milliamp 3S 25C battery pack, but you'll notice it's only got thin JST plugs and wiring, but that is adequate for a single glow driver. And then on the instrument panel, I have taped down the glow indicator, the light that lets you know if it's on or off. And when I switch on the plane, because the glow driver is connected with a Y harness to the throttle port on the receiver, the glow driver is energized when I turn on the main receiver pack. You'll notice if you have a low battery or an open circuit, you get a slow blinking light. And this is because I do not have my battery for the glow driver connected when I turned on the plane. And now I will connect it. I removed the cowl to get a better look of how to attach a ground to the engine lug. And then the hot, I like to use a wheel collar. I just drill a hole in the opposite side and solder a wire into it, and then drill a hole, not extra large, just run a drill through to clean out any solder, and then use that. You know, there's a grub screw here, use that, and it's easy to clamp on. And I just put a piece of silicone in there to come on, focus. Put a piece of silicone in there to insulate the hot positive from the ground. Okay, so we power up our radio, and when we power up the airplane, because the battery is tied, let me see if I can get in here with the because the battery here is got a Y harness going to the receiver. So when the receiver is powered up, the glow plug is energized also. So anyway, when we turn on, you'll watch the light here, because it's at the idle position, because I've already set it, this light will come on solid. And it shows the glow plug is now heated, so I could start the engine. And then when I move the throttle up to where my set point is, which is about a third throttle, it goes off. So it just stays off while I'm at higher settings, and then as I come back towards low throttle, it energizes the glow plug, heats it up, so the engine will, you know, have a good reliable idle, especially on 4-strokes. Sometimes seems necessary, to me anyway, that the they benefit from having a hot plug at low speed. And if, you know, the manual that Steve Crain gives you's got all the info you need, but if, for example, if it was working opposite on your throttle stick, then you just push the reverse button on the glow driver, not on your radio, but on the glow driver. There's a little reverse button down there. So that's pretty much it. It's you just, you know, I have it velcroed in here to secure it. The battery's velcroed down. You make your wire connections. For a single glow plug, you do not need heavy gauge wire. And I mean, I got heavy gauge wire here. I think at the time it's just because I was just using scraps. So the wire is not that thick going up to this point in here somewhere. But it doesn't matter. Two glow plugs, it matters a lot. But for a single glow plug, the light gauge wire is enough. Again, I'll show you what happens if you have an open circuit. If your battery voltage goes low, or you get an open circuit, you'll get a slow blinking light. And if you have a fast blinking light, which I can't demonstrate, if you had a fast blinking light, that would mean you have a short to ground. You need to stop and investigate. Okay, well, that's it for the single glow setup. I think I covered everything okay. Okay, so now let's talk about a two glow plug setup. Crain Engineering's single glow driver, as opposed to his multi-engine glow driver, will power two glow plugs. What you do on the positive wire, you make a Y harness. You can see right, about 1.5 inches away from here, I've got it. That's where I've got it wide. And I changed colors, but that's because I wanted it black outside. So anyway, here we go to two glow plugs running off of the single wire that's wide right here. The difference between running the single glow plug and running two is it demands so much more current. You cannot use the light duty wires. You have to use much thicker gauge wires. In this case, I think I'm using 16 gauge, maybe it's 14, with an XT60 connector. Because I actually tried it, since I had that one working, I set up this first with the same battery and the JST connector, and all I kept getting was a short indication, and that means you could have a short, but it also means that you don't have enough current. It's a current fault, so it'll give you the fast flashing indicator light. So when I contacted Steve Crain about it, he said, "Oh, is your wire gauges enough?" And I sent him a little video, and he said, "Yeah, I could see the problem. Try some heavier gauge wire." And I did, and that solved the problem. So again, let me get this playing in the radio here. All right. Okay, so my indicator light is over here. On this one, I put it on the outside because there's no cockpit. And so when I turn this on, you'll see the light come on. So there I've got my glow plugs lit, and then when I move my throttle up, it goes off when I'm at a higher throttle. And then when I come back to a lower throttle setting, which is about 1/3, and they come back on. So that's it for a dual glow plug setup. Exactly the same as a single plug setup, except that you must use heavier gauge wire for your battery, and all the way through from the battery into the driver, and then out to the plugs you want heavier gauge wire, and then everything's good. Same thing, you know, you set where you want your glow plugs to turn off, not on, but to turn off was the set button. And if it's reverse on your throttle, you hit your reverse button here. You do not reverse it in your transmitter. And that's it. Pretty simple. And they work great. They work really, really great. Okay, that'll do it.